Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing the 25th Amendment. Now, if you have not been paying attention to the news cycle, Donald Trump was announced and diagnosed publicly for the first time ever, was shocking. Donald Trump has an illness or disease. We're going to take a look at that and see if there's anything going to be going on with the 25th Amendment. My guess says no, but based on past readings I did about in January of 2025, it has mentioned 25th Amendment, which I will link to the description below my 7-month period into Donald Trump's presidency in the description and the comment section below if you want to go ahead and watch that video. Anyway, this video is being recorded on none other than Monday, July 21st at 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as of when I'm recording this specific video. And for those of you guys who have been wondering where have I been, well, I've been making a lot of lives. If you've been missing a lot of my live streams, go ahead and go to my past live category, and you will find all the lives that you have missed over the course of a couple of days. I know a lot of you guys have not noticed it, so I just want to make sure I give you a little bit of an alert that yes, there are videos up there that are also live now. So I have gone back into doing live streams now that I'm back in my studio and I have access to Wi-Fi, so it makes it a little bit more stable. But anyway, besides the point, let's just go on with this video. Let's just get head on in and let's see what's happening. This video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. I gotta find a better color for this because I feel like you guys can't see white. But anyway, the whole gist is there. If you want to donate to the channel, you can. The donation link is in the description below. My recommendation is don't donate, but it's there in case you do want to donate. And yeah, my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group is in the comment section below if you want to be notified when I do post and upload. I hate long intros, so I'm not wasting your time. Let's just get on with this. Okay, so let's see. Spiritual Angel, tell me about Donald Trump. Tell me about Donald Trump in terms of his... Tell me about the 25th Amendment. Will the 25th Amendment ever be used on a U.S. president? Let's talk about that. That's the question that I want to know. Will the 25th Amendment ever be used on an incumbent sitting president? Ever. Will the 25th Amendment be ever used to remove a president from office? I know it has never been used before. Although they were talked about it, they never used it. Unless I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section below, but I don't think they ever did. First card that comes in is reversed. It's the star card. This is the presidency. The intention wasn't to use it for political gain. It was just to keep the country moving. This is the star card, followed by the reverse Ace of Pentacles. And Ace of Pentacles is an offer, moving forward with something. Something has been halted. So if this was under normal circumstances, there could have been a possibility of the 25th Amendment being used at some point in time in history, but it doesn't feel like it actually holds any weight. It feels like the president is above the 25th Amendment. Like, it almost feels like it's so difficult to get it enacted or to be able to get it into use that it just seems unfeasible at this point. We also have here, we have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups reversed is very interesting as well because the fact that it's reversed also indicates something moving in a direction towards the presidency, something moving away in the past. Because you notice here, these cards, this section here symbolizes the past. This side represents the future. And you notice how the two offers, you have the cup and the pentacle moving in the direction of the past. Which means that the 25th Amendment does not hold any power in the future, which means that its purpose has never been served and it has never been used. But when these things start to move upright, then the government and the offer to use the 25th Amendment will go into effect. That is why these three cards are reversed, because it's never been used before. Nobody knows how it's done. But it does tell me there is leeway room. When there is support financially or by donors or pressure with money or voters or whatever it is, it could tip the balance in favor of the 25th Amendment being enacted. Same thing with the Knight of Cups. It's a proposal. But these two things are not in co-joint right now. These are two separate bodies and two separate things that make the 25th Amendment work and function. But because it's not in work at the moment and has never been used, we have the government in full operation. And this is why it's represented as the Hierophant. The government is in full operation via the Hierophant. That's why it comes up here. But you notice that when the 25th Amendment is being enacted, these three cards turn upright and head in the direction of the Hierophant, with the mere exception of the presidency. Right? Because you're moving away from the president and you're putting somebody else in position of power. Right? Because these two things are in position leading towards the presidency. They support the president of the United States. You see here, these two people are supporting the president. They're facing away from the government. This is the institution. This is the government. This is maybe the person next in line. This might be the senator, the congressman, right? These two are in line with the presidency. But when this goes upright, the presidency faces the other way, and he loses his support. Or she loses her support. And it goes into the direction of the Hierophant, which is the government, the next one in line. And it oversteps the president. But as of right now, in the future, we have this energy where the 25th Amendment doesn't appear to have any support at the moment, but it doesn't tell us whether or not it will be enacted. But at least we know the 25th Amendment could possibly ever be used in the future if the conditions are right. Now, let's take a look at Donald Trump. Now, let me see, what diagnosis did they give Donald Trump? I forgot. I know I did a video on it, but honestly, who remembers any of this stuff? Okay, Trump health. Let's see. Let's see, diagnosis. Okay, so chronic venous insufficiency. So VCI, which is basically what that is. So chronic venous insufficiency, what is CVI? Let's see. All right, so Spears Angel Tommy for Donald John Trump for his health. VCI. Will it ever get to a moment or a point in time where it could be used to enact the 25th Amendment and to remove Donald Trump from the presidency? No. 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 We have the moon card. The moon card is hidden intentions, right? It's open, it's out there. Because he opened it and he told people what his condition was, it left the doorway for the 25th Amendment to not be used on him, because he was openly honest with the people, and because he did that, it shut out any sort of talks of the 25th Amendment being used against him. Now, this could very well backfire in the future. Yes, absolutely. But as of right now, the energy is on the side of Donald Trump. This is represented at the Nine of Pentacles, which means good thing, great fortune, right? It's reversed, which means his health is going to deteriorate at a certain point. This is him on the hospital bed. So it does tell me at some point in time, when this thing starts to become really chronic, then VCI, it's going to really do some damage. But right now, he's in the fine zone at the moment. He was able to get off with a slap on the wrist, if you will. What kind of tells me that there might have been talk behind the scenes of possibly removing Donald Trump via the 25th Amendment, which could explain why a man who hid his entire health record, hid his entire diagnosis from the American people, and all of a sudden it comes down, like, it's a little bit bizarre unless there were talks of the 25th Amendment. And here you have the Ten of Swords reversed, which means now, unless she's dead, they're not doing anything. We have here on the left side, we have the Death card. Unless he's dead, they're not doing anything. We have here, even though he can't fight it, you know that this is not something that's curable. Which, by the way, this is not psychic prediction. This is literally what's in the medical thing. If you look up VCI or venous chronic insufficiency, you will know that it tells you it's incurable. So don't let any party tell you, oh, it might just be incurable. No. That's literally what it does. Like, don't let anybody fool you. This is the Five of Swords here. The Five of Swords is also reversed, which means that he can't fight this. They understand that. But I don't see him struggling with this. I don't see him struggling with the 25th Amendment, the Ten of Wands here. I don't see them trying to enact it, trying to push it, enforce it. I don't see that. So he's perfectly fine. Yeah, he's perfectly fine in terms of the 25th Amendment. There's no way in any indication of his health. It's just talking about the 25th Amendment overall and whether or not it will be used. Will VCI call for it or add energy or a movement to enact the 25th Amendment? That's what this video is intended for. But with the possible happenstance of Donald Trump possibly, getting even sicker or having an unknown diagnosis also be revealed to the public, will that exacerbate the 25th Amendment? Maybe it will be used. So let's go ahead, let's take a look at that. The Spirit Angel tell me, just say that Donald Trump's health does indeed get worse, and we enter into a timeline where his health deteriorates very rapidly. Will there be any possibility of the 25th Amendment being used against Donald Trump to remove him from the presidency? Here we have it, the 7 stories here. For a lot of MAGA people, it feel like them stealing the presidency away from Donald Trump. And what kind of issues would this cause? Well, here, even though it will be like not a backlash because they're still getting the Republican, it's not the Republican that they voted for, which is the 7 of Wands. However, they understand the situation. They understand the medical situation. And so it kind of feels like there's like a leniency. Like it almost feels like even though the Republicans are in uproar, they're not very happy with the decision if they were to decide to remove Donald Trump via the 25th Amendment due to his health situation. They're not exactly up in arms about it. That's the crazy thing. They're not up in arms about it. And here you have it, the empress, the woman, the female. Again, the U.S. This is liberty. So as long as they say, they have the freedom to do whatever they want, whatever their messed up minds are saying to people, it feels like as long as Republicans are able to enact some of the policy that people voted for, they don't care what happens. They don't care if it's Donald Trump or not. Because in the end, as long as a lot of people don't get what they wanted, like the population, doesn't benefit from a lot of things, like for example, removing universal health care or Medicaid or Medicare from a lot of people. As long as there's Republicans who voted for stuff like that, and they get that, they're perfectly fine. They're perfectly satisfied. Whether it's Donald Trump in the office or not, they don't care. As long as that idea, that whole concept, prior to 2025 goes into effect. Right? This is why the Page of Cups here is very important, because the Page of Cups means wishful thinking, but with certainty. Right? This means wishful thinking with certainty, which means that they are very certain that regardless of what happened to Donald Trump and his health, they are still going to be very much behind Trumpism in itself. They are loyal to Trumpism, not loyal to Donald Trump anymore, which is pretty much of a definition of a division between Donald Trump and his supporters. Tells us that this is no longer a party of Donald Trump. This is now a party of ideology. And that's called the follows in the 9 of Cups. Right? Achievements. It's all about the achievements. As long as the Republicans are able to complete the goal and the promise that these people voted for, they don't care who's in that position. They don't care who's in that seat. And this is really interesting because this will be a good news if you were J.D. Vance to see what the type of environment, the ambiance that you will want. So this is the worst case scenario for America, but the best case scenario for the one who takes over after Trump. Obviously, this would be terrible for Donald Trump because Donald Trump would no longer be cared about. People just care about his idea, his policy, his platform, rather than who Donald Trump is at the core. Because if Donald Trump realizes and gets to a point of realization that says, oh, these people, my supporters, they don't actually care about me. They don't really like me. They just only like me because I'm doing things that they want. And I'm not getting recognition for it. Then how am I benefiting from this? And he may backtrack. He might do things to spite his supporters as well. So definitely keep that in mind as well. So Donald Trump is a man of attention and love and appreciation. He wants to make sure that he gets that from his supporters. But if he realizes his supporters don't actually support him, but actually support Trumpism at the core, at his core, and not Trump himself, then you're going to realize that there is no legacy. There is no legacy of Donald Trump because there never was. There was Trumpism. That's the legacy. That will be what will be remembered for, not Trump. And Trump wants to be remembered as a person, not as an ideology. So that, my folks, is the reason for that is the answer to the question. So will Donald Trump be removed via the 25th Amendment? Unlikely. But if it does come to that situation, MAGA, they'll be very supportive of Trumpism over Trump. And I've been getting the energy here throughout this reading that they are getting more comfortable by releasing this information online on the media, trying to get MAGA people and Republicans to be more comfortable with the idea that Trump is sick. It's a narrative to try to get people to be comfortable with the idea that possibly Trump may not be around forever. And that is a psychological phenomenon that is being undergone in our political system to try to get people to be able to cope with the idea of Donald Trump not being around, which means that they are setting the stage for a new leader to take his place. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Peace out. I love you.